Hey friendos, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Matt. We're back with some more Marvel Future Fight, and yeah, we are looking at the patch notes or update details, whatever you want to call it, of the upcoming update for the remaining Warriors of the Sky and Spidey. And oh boy, this is not good. We all know the whole Deadpool maximum effort.
Maximum effort.
Well, this is the exact opposite. This is absolute minimum effort. This is really poor. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Let's have a look and see how very little they're giving us, and then we'll break it down. So yeah, we have the final two members of the Warrior of the Sky, Moon Temple Defenders, as they now seem to want to call them. I don't know if they've dropped Warriors of the Sky, but yeah, for some reason now they're calling them Moon Temple Defenders. I don't know if that's a translation issue or something, but there we go. So we know Shadow Shell's getting her tier 4, her and War Tiger are getting new uniforms, and Miles Morales, Spidey, is getting his tier 3 and apparently a 10th anniversary uniform. So that goes to show that I had no idea that was a 10th anniversary uniform. I did not recognise it at all, but I really don't read the Miles comics, so there we go. So let's jump straight into it. As we all know, uniform sale, yep, so it's going to be 10.50. Now unfortunately, whilst Shadow Shell maintains all of her poison damage on all of her skills, it does not count as elemental damage. So unfortunately, Judgment will not work with her, which is a real shame because that would have been ideal, but I'm pretty sure we went through this before with her and with Green Goblin at the time, and unfortunately after some testing by other content creators, it turned out that Judgment was no good for them, so that's a bit of a shame. It kind of means that there's one less to use with her, especially since they're going all in on poison. So she gives herself skill damage bonus damage on her uniform, and it enhances the effect of toxic immunity, which was 90% anyway, so I'm not really sure where the enhance is coming in there. I don't know why it doesn't just go 100% immunity to poison damage. It's not as if she's going to be up against many other characters who div poison damage, so yeah, go figure. Also increases her own damage by 35%, so she gets a self buff, and then all of her skills are very much just poison damage. We have paralysis on the first skill, we have fracture on the fourth, but there's no stun, no snare, so it's not looking like she's going to be very good for ABX or ABL. She does give herself an increase of 50% to basic attacks on her third, which usually is a sign that she hits kind of weak. Whenever someone gets such a big buff, like an increase of all attacks by 50%, it usually means they really need it. So that's a bit worrying. She does have a heal on her fourth, which is nice, but as we all know, that is just par for the course for any character, especially if they're going to be tier 4 in 2023. They need it just to clear World Boss Legend, so unfortunately heal isn't really anything that special, and it's only 25%, so that's kind of disappointing. Kind of would need something like at least 35% I think these days really. And then on a fifth skill, invincibility, accumulation, nothing that really stands out, so unfortunately it's very much paint by the numbers. So we move on to War Tiger, and as we all know, he already had his transcendence, so this is literally just a uniform for him. So it's going to have to be something special to make any difference, to make anyone want to go out and buy it. So let's see. I can see this, unfortunately, being a very popular optional in the future. I can see them realizing in about a month's time that no one has bought this uniform, and therefore all future updates are going to have this as a second or fifth uniform option, just because it's the only way people are going to buy it. But let's break it down. Let's have a look, see what we've got. We've got chain hit damage, increased crit rate, decreases damage received. Great, I'm sure that'll be very good for him in Shadowland, where he's going to be. Tier 2 passive, super armor, increases damage, wonderful. And then we only get 3 skill changes, the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th. He gets bleed, stun, paralysis. Then on the 4th, gets decreases all defenses. We all know that doesn't really do anything these days, especially since it doesn't work in World Boss Legend unless he's going to be PvP. He has invincibility and a measly 15% health recovery on the 5th, so yeah. Unfortunately, War Tiger is a skip. Unless you're a completionist and unless you have to have all the uniforms, or like I say, unless in the future we're looking back on this and saying, yeah, it turns out that he was a really important optional for a lot of meta characters in the future. He's a big fat skip. Which brings us to Miles Morales. Poor Miles. Look, we all know he needs his tier 3, and as I surmised, and I know a lot of other content creators have also been speculating, this is purely just a stopgap uniform and a functional tier 3 that he needs to have in order to get his big upgrade when his film Across the Spider-Verse comes out later this year. So I'm not expecting anything too exciting from this, and we were right not to expect anything. He does interestingly have a leadership for Spider-Man though, which is interesting. It does play more into the whole breaking the game down from just Avengers, mutants, Inhumans, villains into further little niche cliques. So he's got a leadership for Spider-Man, increases Spider-Man's attacks by 70%, and if normal Peter Parker Spidey gets a tier 4 at some point this year, that could be interesting. As it stands at the moment though, with Spidey being more of a PvP character and being out of the meta completely, not really sure how useful that's going to be. He does have some very standard increases. Guaranteed dodge, increases damage to supervillains. This is kind of what he already had, so nothing too exciting there, and it only applies to himself, doesn't apply to all allies. And then we have 5 skill changes, which again just pretty much go back to how he was with his original, or with his Into the Spider-Verse uniform. He has the lightning and the paralysis and the physical damage. He does have a recovery on his 5th skill, but that's about it. Pretty much very standard stuff. And then his tier 3 comes in, fire and lightning damage, stun, web, and you can see here the little graphic. It's a very Spidey centric one. Swings around, lots of debris falls on the ground. It's nice that he gets the Spidey sense going off at the beginning. That start part of the animation is quite nice, and then with all those pylons and everything, it looks like he's in a wrestling ring. It really does at the end there. So I don't know quite what the devs were thinking, but yeah, towards the end, it just looks laugh. It looks really, really naff. I don't know quite what they were going for, but it doesn't work. Shadow Shell, yep, she gets a tier 4, increases all attacks by 50%, which just goes to show that she clearly really needs it. Now she's either gonna hit like an absolute Mack truck and destroy people with all of these 50% increases, or she's still going to do nothing because she gets the increase of all attacks by 50% for 10 seconds, and then the activation rate when she's using skills but not regular attacks, then she gets a further increase of 30%. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but like I say, either she's going to hit poorly and it's going to do negligible difference, or it's going to be either one or the other. I really, really, really hope that this means that she's going to absolutely obliterate people, but I just can't see it, unfortunately. I really think that this just means that she's going to be really poor, and her damage just bumps her up to a very, very standard baseline rate. I hope to be wrong. Trust me, I would much rather be happy than correct. So we shall have to wait and see, but it doesn't look good. So then we actually get a little bit of new content. Hooray! We get a new dispatch level, just like we had thought. Sector 13. And it's Asgard, so they're just basically reworking the old story missions and using the backdrops to give us some new bosses and some new levels to clear. So we have 5 new levels to clear. 13.1 through to 13.5. And what do we get for drops? Tier 4 materials? No, don't be so stupid. Why would they do that? After giving us stages 11 and 12, which both drop Celestial Essence, they give us stage 13, which goes back to TCP and EOD. Why? What the hell is this? What does this do? In order to get to stage 13, and I'm just going to assume that there is a difficulty increase from stage 12 to 13, which would mean you'd have to have at least level 80, if not tier 4 characters. And the reward for all that effort that we've put in for building up our rosters and increasing our characters and making our, accounts as best we can is to give us rewards that we were getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages ago. Make that make sense, Marvel Future Fight devs, because this is really, really disappointing. Yeah, we have some quality of life fixes where you can remove all dispatched heroes at once, so you can rejig your teams so you can have them all in the sectors where you want to get the most rewards. From that aspect, yeah, I guess that part is nice. But that's it. That's the only thing that's nice. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything, blah blah blah. Who cares about auto progress dialogue for heroic quests, because who the hell even use heroic quests? Autoplay plus can be used without having VIP requirements. Again, who cares? No one cares. The HP is self-explosive robots in story mode. Who the hell is playing normal story mode? Jesus Christ. This, honestly, if this was any less effort, you'd be taking things out of the game. Yep, we get new artifacts. We get one for Shadow Shell, one for War Tiger. Neither of them really strike me as being meta or even interesting. They don't offer anything new or different. It's just the same old stuff that they keep on giving out. Spider-Man's is the only one, Miles Morales is the only one that's actually interesting, and it gives him the Peter Parker Spider-Man effect, which is basically, it seems to be a lot of speed types effects basically now. Chance to dodge all attacks. We saw it with Black Widow, we've seen it with others. It's nothing exciting. It really should be in the uniform, but of course Marvel Future Fight gonna Marvel Future Fight, and they're gonna try and monetize that as much as possible. So yeah, we have it as an artifact instead. Disappointing. Future Pass, once again, nothing exciting in here. There's no bios or anything, so we're back down to the standard crap that we get every month. We have 4 new icons. Blue Dragon's one, again, I know Alex said in his break, I didn't do a breakdown for the key arcs, it really didn't seem worth it, and I think he pretty much covered everything I would have said anyway, but her face doesn't look correct here, it looks wrong. It looks like they've just pasted it on straight on and then just tilted the head, but they didn't tilt the face with it, so the angle just, it looks out of proportion. I follow quite a lot of artists on Twitch and stuff, and I showed them this picture and they all said the same thing. Galactus looks pretty cool. Is it Kunlun, the sea dragon thing? That looks okay. And then, yeah, Crescent here with fireworks, which kind of gives us a bit of a sneak peek into the mid-month for the Lunar New Year. I think we're going to see Crescent get her tier 4. Sad. Very sad. Yep, we have a uniform collection where they're trying to make out as if all the warriors... Sorry, not Warriors of the Sky. Moon Temple Defenders. We have to call them Moon Temple Defenders now, apparently. All appear in one collection. Because they all arrived at the same time, didn't they, guys? Remember? Wink wink, says Marvel Future Fight. Totally gaslighting us. And you get your standard reward for completing that. We get some other improvements. Finally, they bring back the skip button so that when you're crafting 10 times in a row, you can fast forward. I don't know why they got rid of that in the first place, but it's been super annoying that they did get rid of it, because for the last year we've had to press craft and then just sit painfully and wait for 30 seconds for it to craft 10 items. So thank goodness that's back. A bunch of other really small UI changes and yeah, some bug fixes. But yeah, I think we all know where this is going, and you can see the results down the bottom there. This smacks of we had to do something to do an update, but we really can't be bothered. We were already checked out for the year. I don't know when this was even put together. It must have been like September, August, September time, if they're running like, you know, 6 months ahead. So to see them put in this little effort is extremely disappointing. I don't know if they were planning to do this all for the Lunar New Year and have this as a big, like, you know, Asian celebration with the Moon Temple Defenders coming at the start of January and then mid-month getting Crescent, Lunar, Sharon maybe. I don't know what happened there that made them split up the update. Like we've said before, we've seen it before, we've seen it in other updates where they've split it in half and they've mixed things around. They've taken characters out of updates and then thrown them in haphazardly elsewhere. Make it make sense. Communicate to us. Other games communicate to us perfectly well. You do, in some manner or form, communicate with us on the daily, on the weekly, with your Twitter and your YouTube and with this forum, but you're not actually giving us any information. And I think that you're going to need to, because I can't see anyone spending any money on this update. And in a couple of weeks' time, you're going to realise that no one has spent any money on this update, and you're going to have to do something pretty drastic in order to, like, you know, win over the fans, because whatever this is, this ain't it, Chief. Anyway, that's everything I've got for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys are enthused, really hope that some of you are, and please by all means don't let me put you off. But yeah, I think I speak for a lot of the community when I say this sucks, change it. Bye for now, guys.
We await your return, warrior.